All right, welcome back to D.L. Kramer's Custom Cars and Anything. Where today we're putting the master cylinder in because I got to run brake lines, so I got to know where they got to go to. So anyway, you see those? Let's see one here. Let me get you caught up to speed here. There's 4 bolts that are in the firewall. This one here is just covered up by the gasket here, I think. Yeah, see it now? I can see all 4. That's your factory mount, you know. So what I did is I went to Dr. Differential and I bought this offset adapter mount. What it does is it brings the master cylinder over about 7/8 of an inch. Okay? For the big Hemi valve covers here, so you don't hit here. So what I did is I took the factory nuts and I used them to mount this to the firewall, and behind it I put high pressure gray silicone. I like the gray silicone because it seems to combat everything. Well, then the unit comes with, then make sure they're tight, tighten all 4 of them up. And then it comes with this gasket, you know. And then, okay. And then also I bought it with the rod, you know. And what this is a Dodge, like an 81 Dodge pickup master cylinder. A lot of guys are buying these for like $200-300 from Chevy guys, when you can go to your local parts store and just tell them you want one for an 81 Dodge pickup. Or you can get them for the 84 Dodge Caravan. The only thing is the reservoir, and then it would be at an angle. But it would still fit on here, and this would still fit on that. So I just buy the 81 Dodge pickup manual brake master cylinder. It's got the big bore in it and everything too. And then with that Dr. Differential thing, with the adapter, then I purchased the rod with it. And that just has a rubber seal on it. Just keep walking it in there until finally it snaps into place. Real simple. And then the rod, I put that on there. Make sure the gasket's on there. And then I slide this in like that. Then the Dr. Differential thing comes with the nuts. So then I put the nuts on there. Like so. On each side here. Here, and then I'm going to set the phone down just for a second. Okay. So I tighten them up, and you can feel them stop, but don't reef on them. You might crack that master cylinder. Now she's on there. Okay. So now it's moved the master cylinder over 7/8 of an inch. So for my valve covers here, for my Hemi valve covers later on, and then you have to get the adapters, to go down to the 3/16 line or get the fittings for it. But now the catch is under the dash here. You use your old master cylinder nut or bolt. Make sure you put some grease on there. And then it comes with this eye that screws onto the end rod. But the eye extends out and then goes back in. But this thing's gonna have a clutch in it, and so the pedal, I had to grind this kind of round, because it had 2 points that stuck out kind of like a diamond here, and I had to grind them, get rid of them. Otherwise, they were hitting the pedal and you would bind it up. So let's see. Let me see if I can get set up on a tripod in here. Let's work in here and get it done. Okay, what I forgot to do is I wanted to explain a couple things here yet, so I took it back off. Actually, once you get this thing ground round, you wanna, once you get it ground round, I wonder if I should grind a little bit more off of there. Well, let's try it this way. Once you get it ground round, and then just put it on here. Okay. And I screw it all the way on. Screw it on until it stops or whatever. Okay. Now, when you adjust this thing under there, because you're going to have to adjust it, this will be fastened to the pedal, so this ain't going to turn. But this will turn. Okay. Now, when you adjust this thing, though, one good thing to keep in mind is that the piston here should always be back all the way. Because when it's back all the way, it allows the check balls to drop in here. It allows fluid to go in. And then when you push on this and the piston goes forward, check balls go back up into place, allow the pressure to build up in the chamber, and then apply it through the brake line. Okay? So once you fasten this to the pedal, you know, this won't turn, you know, then you just turn the shaft until the resistance is just up against the piston, and that's it. Don't be reefing on this thing so the piston's half down the chamber already, because what will happen is that if you bottom out that piston, you can crush that sleeve that's in there, and the master cylinder will fail. So just so make sure, I don't know if you can see it now. I don't know, something moved on me here or something. But anyway, yeah, you'll fasten this to the pedal, and then you'll turn this shaft, you know. Obviously this won't turn at the time, but you'll turn the shaft until you feel the resistance on there. You want that piston there, you want that all the way back, so the check balls fall down and allow fluid to come in. And then that way, because if this thing is still cogged here or whatever, then the check balls ain't gonna fall. Okay? That builds up your brake pressure. A lot of guys always ask me, say, well, why do my brakes start to stick in the front? What happens is that if you have this too far forward, it keeps brake pressure on the front calipers, and they start to heat up, and then the car starts to stop, and then they're changing master cylinders and all kinds of shit. But all it was that this was just misadjusted. Street rods are the same way. Anything. So you just want it so there's just resistance on there. Okay, the weight of the brake pedal is basically just, you know. But don't adjust it any further. You know, you want that piston to come retract all the way to the back. A lot of guys have troubles with this, and nobody addresses it. When you set up a car, a street rod, anything, any kind of master cylinder, make sure the piston's all the way back. You know, and if the exposed underneath the car, make sure you run a GM dust boot on here. They fit right on here, because you don't want no dust in here. Once this piston goes forward, the bore is exposed, and then you get a grain of sand in there, you have a lot of issues as well. Obviously, this is going to be underneath the dash, so we should be just fine. At least I hope, anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to address that. So when we adjust this thing, when this is fastened to the pedal under there, you know, we're going to fasten it till the pedal's all the way back up, and then there's resistance on the piston. Okay, and then we'll tighten up the jam nut here. Okay. Hopefully you guys understand what I just said, which I would think that you do. So let's see if it fits. I may have to ground more off of here yet. I don't know. But so we'll shove it to the hole. Okay, what am I hitting on? There it goes. Okay, so If that's in the place, then I can tighten up the master cylinder. It looks like it is. I think that'll work. Yeah. Okay. So let's tighten up the master cylinder back again. Hopefully it's the last time. It's been like 3 times already. Keep forgetting to show you guys stuff, and wanted to explain that piston. Like I say, a lot of guys have problems with the front brakes locking up and dragging. Well, it's just because the rod isn't allowing the piston to go back far enough. That's the problem. Doesn't allow the pressure to detent off the thing if the piston ain't going back all the way. I've had people tell me, oh, yeah. Well, then they tried it. They didn't admit that I was right about it, but I learned it on my own. The piston has to go all the way back so the balls can detent back into the neutral state. Okay, that's tight. This one tight. That one's tight. Okay, master cylinder's back on again for the 3rd time. Keep taking it off because I want to keep showing you guys stuff. Okay. See if we can set this up in here somehow. You guys, bird's eye view, but the camera ain't gonna. Okay, now this is in the way. That works better. Is it? No, probably not. What about if we put it here? That might be better. So obviously this is a clutch car. It's gonna be. So now, the thing is, let's see. Is there another way? I'm trying to get you guys the best camera angle possible, and at the same time, I don't want you guys in my way. There's something. I can kind of see it there. Now you can see that brake deal is right there. The eye, you know. Now what I'll do, okay, now what happened? Well, okay, whatever. I can't even get my buttocks in here. I have to grab something. All right. So what I did now is I got myself some good old-fashioned grease, and I'm going to try to grease the living heck out of this thing. And grease the heck out of the bolts. Some people use white lithium grease on here, you know. Oh, God, I knocked everything over here. Okay, there's that. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then what I'll do, we'll put the nut on the other side. Okay, my mic went out on me. I got so I gotta put it here in the charger. Okay, so we need a socket. I believe it's 11/16. I don't know if the other side was 5/8. I should have double checked. I better grab 5/8 rounds just for the heck of it. Now I got that all glued up under there. Now we gotta try to tighten this up again. I might have to move you guys yet. I don't know. So let's see. Okay, come on, there you go. There you go. Okay. So we know that size is that size. No, we got that in. Let's check out this other end. Next size is that 3/4. It is, isn't it? Okay, I'll go get 3/4. Three-quarter. Grab a 3/4. Okay. Come on. Wow. Come on, Ratchet. Okay, there's that. Okay, now. Okay. It's barely rubbing on the firewall, I see. You know, sometimes that rod, I think if we give it some time, it'll go away. At least I hope. It's just gonna make some noise for a while. Okay, now, so what we want to do here now is let's back you guys up here. Put you guys back up here. See if does that work. Okay, now with the clutch pedal, I'm gonna pull this back, and what I want, there's a little play there in the piston. That might be good right where it's at. Now, because you want your pedals even, and so anyway, we got that together. God, it just barely hits it. So I can take it all apart again, but you know what? I'm not gonna right now. If anything, I'll just let it wear. It'll wear in there. And but now you can kind of see. Let's see. Maybe you can't in the position there. Well, maybe not even. Oh, Jesus Christmas here. See, let's see if we can show it this way, maybe. Parking brake levers in the way there, kind of. But you can see now, your see this eye for the master cylinder came in on the other side before. Now it's on this side because we moved the master cylinder to the left, so the rod went to the left. So now it's on the opposite side of the pedal. That's why they do the 7/8 of an inch thing, because otherwise if you have a manual in here and then you start running into your clutch pedal and all that stuff, and right now there's plenty of room for that. So what we're going to do now later, let's see now here, later we'll be doing adjustments to this master cylinder, and I think it's gonna work just fine. It just sucks right now with it's barely rubbing on the side, you know. One little quick with the little grinder would have been perfect, but I did not know that until I put it together. So now I do. You learn by doing. So anyway, let me see if I can get you guys in somewhere closer here. Now, later on, the rod there, we'll turn that rod, then we'll tighten up that jam nut later on. But right now you can see the pistons all the way back the way it should be. You know, you can see how off center it is now. The rod used to be on this side, now it's on the other side of the pedal. But you can see right there on the side there, it just rubs just barely. Just barely. I think that will just work away. But as long as it doesn't get in the master cylinder though. Let's start that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that'll work good. But so later on we'll turn that rod. We want the pedal all the way back, even with the clutch pedal, and then we want the piston all the way back. Otherwise the front brakes will drag. Okay? So that concludes our installation of the master cylinder anyway. A quick video, you know, and I can kind of see how it all is there. So now you can see how far it moved it over. You can see it moved it over to the, when we're looking at it, it's to our right, but when we're in the driver's seat, it moved it to the left, away from the motor. Okay, well, please like and subscribe, guys, and take care and have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.